Hello and welcome to Kids English. It is me, your favorite teacher, Teacher Thomas. Today, we will be learning the English alphabets. Do you know what the alphabets are? These right here are the alphabets. You see them? That's what we're going to be learning today. So, get ready. Now, let's begin. Bugün İngilizcesinin alfabeleri öğreneceğiz. Hadi başlayalım. So now, let us start with the first letter in the English alphabet. And that letter is A. Can you see this letter? This is A. Pronounce with me. A. How do you say it? A. Okay? So, A is the first letter in the English alphabet. What is A? This one right here is A. Okay? Say it with me once more. A. Okay? Now let's move on to words that begin with A. One of the words in the English language that begins with A is apple. Say after me. Repeat after me. Apple. Can I hear a little bit? Apple. Come a little bit. Apple. Nice. So, apple is one of the words in the English language that begins with A. Okay? Now let's make some examples with the word apple. Here you can see a little girl is eating apple. Let's make an example in both Turkish and English. All right? Now, the girl loves apple. In Turkish, how do we say it? So as you can see here, the girl loves apple. Look at her. She loves apple so much. Do you like apple? Mr. Thomas loves apple. You like apple, I think. Yes. So apple starts with the letter A. Okay? In Turkish, we say kız elmaya sever, which means the girl loves apple. Oh, lots of apples. Oh, so many apples. I like them. Come. Now, do you know which letter comes next? Do you know what it is? And that letter is B. So B is the next letter that comes in the English alphabet. So say it with me. So it is B. Come on, say it with me. B. Come closer, come closer. B. All right? So B is the second letter in the English alphabet. Okay? Now let's move on to words that begin with the letter B. Okay? Now let's move. So one of the words that begin with the letter B is banana. Look at it right here. So this is banana. How do you call it? Banana. Let's go. Ba-na-na. How do you call it? Ba-na-na. So this is banana. Okay? So banana is one of the words that begins with B. And B is the second letter in the English alphabet. Come on, give me a high five, give me a high five, yeah. Now, let's make an example with the word banana. Are you ready? You ready? Come on. Let's make an example with the word banana. So an example sentence is, the monkey eats the banana. Look at this monkey right here. Look at him. He's having fun. He's enjoying his banana. He's having fun with the banana. So an example sentence is the monkey eats the banana. As you can see in this picture right here, the monkey eats the banana. Say it with me. Can you repeat? The monkey eats the banana. Okay? Now, in the Turkish language, it is maymunun muz yer. That's it in Turkish. That's why I like Turkish. It's so unique. Maymunun muz yer. Right here. So, now let's go to the next letter in the English alphabet. Can you guess which letter is that? Which letter that might be? So that is the letter C. This one right here, C. You see it? So this is C. Now, C is the third letter in the English alphabet. How do you pronounce it? It's like one more. So it is C. Okay? Now, C is the third, number 3, third letter in the English alphabet. Now, let's give an example sentence with the word candy. Okay? Now, look right here. As you can see, candy is right here, and we have the example sentence in English. Now, my friend gave me a candy. In Turkish language, it is arkadaşım bana şeker verdi. Arkadaşım bana şeker verdi. All right? So my friend gave me a candy. In Turkish, we say arkadaşım bana şeker verdi. All right? Come on, man. Let's go. Great. Now, let's move on to the next letter in the English alphabet. You want to tell me which letter that is? Do you want to tell Teacher Thomas? Come on, tell me. Come on. You want to tell me? So that letter is D. See right here? This is D. D is the fourth. Number 4 is the fourth letter in the English alphabet. So we have A, we have B, we have C, and we have D. All right? So D is the fourth letter in the English alphabet. Okay? I like you. You're smart. I want you to think about a word that begins with the letter D. I'm waiting for you. Think about it. So an example of a word that begins with D is dog. A lovely dog. I love dog. Look at it. It's so cute. So lovely. Dog. Okay? So pronounce it after me. Dog. Say it again. Dog. One more time. Dog. Okay? So dog begins with the letter D. Okay? Great. So now, let us move on to the next letter in the English alphabet. And that letter is this one. This is the letter. How do you call this letter? This letter is called E. Say it with me. E. Say with me. This is E. Okay? So E is the fifth. Number 5. Fifth letter in the English alphabet. How is it called? It is called E. Okay? So E is the fifth letter in the English alphabet. And here it is. This letter right here. This one. Yeah. Now, let's continue. So, we will find a word that begins with E. I want you to find that word for me. Find me the word that begins with E. Just think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Yes. What is the word? The word is egg. Egg. It is E-G-G. Egg. You see right here? This is the word. This is the word. Egg. All right? So say it after me. Egg. Egg. Okay? So the word is egg. All right? Repeat after me once more. Egg. You smart. Now, I want you to do something. Think about an example sentence with the word egg. Just think about it. One sentence could be this one. This one. Yes, you see it right. This one. Aras loves egg. Aras loves egg. Okay? In the Turkish language, it is Aras yumurta seviyor. So the next letter in the English alphabet that we will be looking at is letter F. Say it with me. F. So the letter is F. Okay? So F is the sixth letter in the English alphabet. So the letter is F. Come and say it with me once more. F. I like you. So F is the sixth letter in the English alphabet. Okay? Now, let's see if we can think about a word that begins with F. You ready? Think about it with me. What is that word that begins with F? We have to find that word. Yes, you have to find that word for me. For Teacher Thomas. An example of a word that begins with F is fish. Come and say it with me. Fish. Okay? So, fish is one of the words that begins with F. Okay? So we have fish. Great. Now, I want you to say it with me over and over. So the word is fish. Say again, fish. Say it with me again, fish. Okay? Fish is one of the words that begins with F. Great. Have you seen a fish before? Yes, you have seen a fish before. What color of fish do you love? Do you love orange fish? Or do you love blue fish? I love blue fish. Which color do you love? So here is a fish. You see him? Hey, hello, my friend. How are you? This here is a fish. It is very, very, very cute. Look at him. Hi. Now, let's make some example sentences with the word fish. We will make example sentences in both English language and Turkish language. Okay? Now let's first start with the English language. So, in the English language, an example could be Isa has a blue fish. Can you repeat with me again? Isa has a blue fish. Great. Give me a high five. Give me a high five. Good. That's nice. Now let's try to make a sentence in the Turkish language. Are you ready? Let's go. In the Turkish language, a sentence could be, can you see this one here? Yes, that's right. Aiza'nın mavi balık var. In Turkish, it is Aiza'nın mavi balık var. All right? So that is an example in both English and the Turkish language. You get in there. Great. Now let's make another example with the word fish. You ready? Let's go. So another example could be this one right here. Yes. My favorite pet is fish. Say it with me one more time. My favorite pet is fish. You see this example right here? This one right here. My favorite pet is fish. Now let's make this example in the Turkish language. Okay? So how do we say this in Turkish? In Turkish, we say en sevdiğim evcil hayvan balıktır. En sevdiğim evcil hayvan balıktır. Okay? So that means that my favorite pet is fish. You're good to go. High five. Great. Which of these is a word that begins with F? Just look at them. Look at them. Find the word that begins with F. It is a pop quiz for you. And the correct answer is frog. Frog begins with the letter F. Okay? Great. Now, let's move on. Which letter comes after F? That is a question for you. Tell me which letter comes after F. Let's think about it. So the next letter that comes after F is G. This letter right here. G comes after F. Okay? So G is the seventh letter in the English alphabet. G. G. Hi. This G. Yes. This G right here comes after S. Think about a word. Think about a word. Just think. Think about any word that begins with G. Think about any word that begins with G. Let's think. What is that word gonna be? Let's take, for example, grapes. Grapes. So grapes is one of the words that begins with G. Yes. Do you love grapes? I love grapes. Which color of grapes do you love? I love the green grapes. Do you love the purple one? It's so nice to eat grapes. Wonderful. Now, let's make some example sentences using the word grapes. Are you ready for that? Let's go. An example sentence could be, as you can see here. Daphne loves purple grapes. Daphne loves purple grapes. That is an example of the word grapes. Okay, now let's try to make that same example in the Turkish language. You can see right here. That example could be Defne mor üzümleri seviyor. Okay? So Defne mor üzümleri seviyor. In English, that is Daphne loves purple grapes. Are you there? Great. Now, let's move on to example number 2. What could be a second example? Second example could be this one right here. You see it? Yes, this example. And what is that? That is, do you want grapes? Do you want grapes? So what could be an answer? Yes, I want grapes. Or, no, I don't want grapes. Okay? So how do we make that example in the Turkish language? That example could be üzüm ister misin? Okay? So in Turkish, we say üzüm ister misin? Okay? So if you want to give an answer, you could say evet isterim. Or you say hayır istemem. Okay? Great. Another pop quiz. Which of these is a word that begins with G? It's a pop quiz for you. Which one? And the correct answer is girl. Girl begins with the letter G. All right? Great. Now let's continue. Do you know which letter comes next? Do you know which letter comes after G? Tell me. Let's think about it. Which letter comes after G? So that letter is H. H is the letter that comes after G. And this is the letter. You see right here? Yes. H comes after G. So H is the 8th letter in the English alphabet. Number 8. So it is the 8th letter in the English alphabet. Okay? So this is H. You see right here. This is H. Great. Now let's try to find a word that begins with H. Try to find a word that begins with H. So an example of such a word is hat. See right here? Hat. Hat is one of the words that begins with H. Okay? So we have hat. Yes. Right here. Hat is H-A-T. It begins with H. Yes. Now let's make some example sentences with the word hat. Can we find some sentences with the word hat? Yes. Let's begin. The first sentence could be, that hat belongs to Duru. This is the sentence. Yes. That hat belongs to Duru. So how do we make this sentence in Turkish? How is this sentence said in the Turkish language? In Turkish, we say, o şapkayı Duru'ya ait. O şapkayı Duru'ya ait. Okay? So that is how we can make such a sentence in the Turkish language. In English, it is, that hat belongs to Duru. Okay? Great. Now let's make another example with the word hat. Can you think about any example that we can make with the word hat? Yes. That example could be, my dad has a blue hat. My dad has a blue hat. You see right here? Yes. My dad has a blue hat. In Turkish, how do we say this sentence? We say, babamın mavi şapkası var. Okay? In Turkish, it is, babamın mavi şapkası var. Great. You are on the track to getting your English language improved. Of these words begins with the letter H. This is a pop quiz. Tell me which of these words begins with the letter H. I'm waiting for you. And the answer is house. House is the word that begins with the letter H. Okay? House is the correct answer. Great. Now, do you know which letter comes next? Do you know which letter comes after H? Let me give you the chance to think about it. So the next letter that comes after H is I. I. So I is the next letter that comes after the letter H. Okay? So I is the 9th letter in the English alphabet. I. It is pronounced as I. I. For example, I am, for example. All right? Now, let's try to find a word that begins with the letter A. Can you find that word? Try to find a word that begins with I. What could that word be? Let's take, for example, ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream is an example of a word that begins with I. Do you like ice cream? I love ice cream. Now, let us try to make example sentences with the word ice cream. Okay? We will make example sentences with the word ice cream. Are you ready? Let's go. So an example could be, Eray eats ice cream every day. Eray eats ice cream every day. Okay? So how do we say this example in the Turkish language? That could be, Eray her gün dondurma yiyor. One more time. Eray her gün dondurma yiyor. Okay? So let's give another example using the word ice cream. You ready for that? Now let's go. Another example could be, Derin will buy ice cream tomorrow. Tomorrow. Derin will buy ice cream tomorrow. How do we say this in the Turkish language? So we say, Derin yarın dondurma alacak. Okay, once more. Derin yarın dondurma alacak. Do you like ice cream? Dondurma seviyor musun? Ben çok seviyorum. Çok çok. Which of these words begins with I? Another pop quiz. Another pop quiz. Which of these words begins with I? So the correct answer is, you tell me, ice. Ice is the correct answer. So ice is one of the words that begins with I. Great. Now, do you know which letter comes next? Which letter comes after the letter I? Do you know which letter is that? That letter is... Anyway, I won't say. You tell me what that letter is. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So what is the letter that comes after I? And that letter is J. J. J right here is the letter that comes after I. So the letter is J. Okay? So we say J. Say with me, J. Say with me, J. Okay? So the letter is J. J comes after I. Great. So J is the 10th letter in the English alphabet. J. Now I want you to think of a word. Think of any word that begins with J. Think of any word that begins with J. An example of a word that begins with J is jacket. Jacket. Jacket. So jacket begins with the letter J. Okay? Great. Let's make some example sentences with the word jacket. Are you ready? Let's make some example sentences with the word jacket. Ready? Let's go. So the first example is going to be Yeat's jacket is nice. Yeat's jacket is nice. How do we make this sentence in Turkish? So in the Turkish language, we say Yiğit'in ceketi güzel. Yiğit'in ceketi güzel. All right? Yiğit's jacket is nice. Yiğit'in ceketi güzel. Great. Let's make another example with the word jacket. You ready? Let's make another example with the word jacket. I wear my jacket in winter. You see right here? This example. I wear my jacket in winter. Okay? In Turkish language, we say kışın ceketimi giyiyorum. Once more. Kışın ceketimi giyiyorum. So that is how we say this sentence in the Turkish language. So which of these words, another pop quiz, which of these words begins with J? It's a pop quiz for you. Pop quiz, pop quiz. Which of these words begin with J? So the correct answer is jar. Jar. This word begins with J. Bravo. You are great. So the next letter that we will be continuing with today is the letter K. Could be kangaroo. Kangaroo. Kangaroo. Now let's make some example sentences using the word kangaroo. Are you ready? Let's go. An example could be, there is a kangaroo in the zoo. Let's repeat again. There is a kangaroo in the zoo. Okay? So that is an example sentence using the word kangaroo. Great. Give me a high five. High five. Now, let's try to make that same example in the Turkish language. Let's try. How do we say it in Turkish? So, in the Turkish language, we say hayvanat bahçesinde bir kangaroo var. Let's say it again. Hayvanat bahçesinde bir kanguru var. Great. Nice. Now let's move to the next letter, which is the letter L. Can you repeat after me? L. L. So here, right here, is the letter L. So let's find a word that begins with L. Can you find that word? Yes. An example of a word that begins with L is lamp. Lamp. Can you say it with me? Lamp. Now let's make some example sentences. Okay? Let's go. So an example sentence is, the lamp is on the table. The lamp is on the table. So in the Turkish language, we say lamba masada. Lamba masada, which means the lamp is on the table. It's table. Masada, on the table. Great. So let's move to the next letter after L. What is that letter? That letter is the letter M. M. So M is the letter that comes after L. All right? Right here. This is M. So let's try to find a word that begins with M. Think about it. Which word do you think begins with M? That word is mouse. So mouse is an example word that begins with M. Okay? Let's make some example sentences using the word mouse. Now, let's start with the English language. In English, an example sentence could be, Lara saw a mouse this morning. Lara saw a mouse this morning. Right? So let's try to make this sentence in the Turkish language. So that could be, bu sabah Lara bir fare gördü. Let's repeat again. Bu sabah Lara bir fare gördü. Great. Which letter do you think comes after M? Think about it. Think about it. What is that letter? That is the letter N. So it is N. This letter right here is N. Let's find a word that begins with N. What is that word? That word could be notebook. Notebook. Notebook. Notebook. So let's make an example sentence with the word notebook. Do you know what a notebook is? This right here is a notebook. So let's make an example sentence using the word notebook. An example could be, Alia has a new notebook. That is an example sentence. So in the Turkish language, we say Aliye'nin yeni defteri var. Once more, Aliye'nin yeni defteri var. That is the example in the Turkish language. We move on to the next letter in the English alphabet, which is the letter O. Can you say it with me again? O. So O is the letter that follows N. I want you to find a word that begins with the letter O. Find that word for me. So an example word could be owl. Can you say it with me? Owl. So right here, you see an owl. So let's make example sentences with the word owl. Are you ready for that? Let's go. So an example could be, the owl is at my window. Let's repeat again. The owl is at my window. So how do we make this sentence in the Turkish language? In Turkish, we say baykuş penceremde. Again, baykuş penceremde, which means the owl is at my window. All right? You are doing excellent. Great job. So the next letter in the English alphabet that we will be looking at today is the letter P. Can you say it with me? P. So it is P. All right? So P is the next letter that we will be learning today. Now, let's move on. So let's find an example of a word that begins with P. I'm waiting for you. Find me a word that begins with the letter P. So that word is P. This right here is a P. P. Okay? So an example word that begins with P is P. Nice. Now let's make example sentences using the word P. Okay? Let's go. An example in the English language could be, the pig is in the garden. The pig is in the garden. This example right here is what I am talking about. Now, let's make that same example in the Turkish language. You ready for that? Let's go. So in the Turkish language, that example could be Dormus bahçede. Dormus bahçede, which means the pig is in the garden. After the letter P, which letter do we have next? The letter we have next is the letter Q. Pronounce with me one more. Q. So the letter Q follows the letter P. Okay? Great. Now, let's look for a word that begins with the letter Q. Do you know what word that is? What is that word that begins with Q? Here's a homework for you. Think about it. Just think about it. Which word begins with Q? Great. Let's move on. So an example of a word that begins with Q is queen. So this right here is queen. As you can see, we have a queen right here. So queen is the word that begins with the letter Q. Okay? Nice. Now let's go to some example sentences with the letter Q. Ready? Let's go. So an example sentence could be, the queen is coming tomorrow. The queen is coming tomorrow. So in the Turkish language, how do we make that sentence? So in Turkish, we say, Kraliçe yarın geliyor. Okay? So we say, Kraliçe yarın geliyor. Great. You're making progress. Good job. Now we move to the next letter, which is the letter R. Can you say it with me? R. So the letter R is the letter after Q. Okay? So right here is the letter R. Now let's find a word that begins with the letter R. Can you find that word? An example could be ring. Ring. So it's ring. Okay? Ring is an example word that begins with R. Nice. Now, let's make example sentences with the word ring. Are you ready for that? Nice. So an example sentence could be, Celine has a diamond ring. Celine has a diamond ring. Right? Great. So how do we make that same sentence in the Turkish language? So in the Turkish language, we say, Celine planta yüzü var. Once more. Celine planta yüzü var. Right? Great. Do you know which letter comes next? Think about which letter comes next. What is that letter? Which letter comes next? And so that letter is the letter S. The letter S. So S is the next letter that we will be learning. All right? Are you ready for that? Great. Let's go. So what is a word that begins with S? Which word do you know that begins with the letter S? So we say an example of a word is sun. Let's repeat again. Sun. Say once more. Sun. Okay? So this right here is a sun. You can see it here. This is sun. Let's make example sentences using the word sun. An example could be, the sun is shining today. The sun is shining today. Okay? Let's repeat once more. The sun is shining today. Nice. In Turkish language, we say bugün güneş parlıyor. Bugün güneş parlıyor. Which means the sun is shining today. Now, which letter comes after S? Do you know which letter is that? That is the letter T. So T is our next letter. So let's find a word that begins with T. Do you know which word begins with the letter T? An example of that word is tree. Tree. It is tree. This here is a tree. Tree. Right here. Yes. Great. This one here. Yes. Great. So let's make example sentences using the word tree. Are you ready for that? Let's go. So an example in English is, this is a mango tree. This right here is a mango tree. Alright? In the Turkish language, an example could be, bu bir mango ağacı. Bu bir mango ağacı. This one right here. Bu bir mango ağacı. In English, we say, this is a mango tree. Repeat after me. This is a mango tree. Alright? Great. Great job. Give me a high five. So the first letter that we will be learning today is the letter U. What's the letter? U. Okay? So U is the first letter that we will be learning today. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, let's find a word that begins with U. Think about that word. Let's think about a word that begins with U. Such a word could be unicycle. Unicycle. Unicycle. This right here is a unicycle. Okay? Unicycle is one of the words that begins with U. High five. Let's go. Now, let's make an example sentence using the word unicycle. An example sentence is, Göktuğ has a unicycle. Let's repeat. Göktuğ has a unicycle. Okay? So in the Turkish language, we say Göktuğ'un tek tekerlekli bisikleti var. That is how we make that sentence in Turkish. All right? Great. You good. High five. After the letter U, which letter comes next? Do you know which letter is that? Think about it. Let's think about it. Think about which letter comes after U. That letter is the letter V. Okay? V is the letter that comes after U. Great. This here is V. This one right here is the letter V. Nice. So let's find a word that begins with the letter V. Do you know what that word is? Give me an example of a word that begins with V. Such a word could be vulture. What is the word? Vulture. It is vulture. Okay? So vulture is an example word that begins with V. Great. Let's move on. So let us use the word vulture in sentences in both Turkish and English. You ready? Let's go. So in the English language, an example sentence could be, John saw a vulture this morning. Let's repeat. John saw a vulture this morning. Okay? So in Turkish, we say, John bu sabah bir akbaba gördü. Let's repeat. John bu sabah bir akbaba gördü. All right? Great. So after V, the next letter that we will be learning is the letter W. Let's repeat. W. It is W. This right here is W. This one right here is the letter W. Okay? Nice. An example of a word that begins with W is watch. What is it? Watch. Repeat after me. Watch. Okay? Great. This right here is a watch. You see it? This is a watch. Okay? Do you have a watch? Teacher Thomas has a watch. This is his watch. All right? Where is your watch? So let's make example sentences using the word watch. You ready? Let's go. An example in English could be, this watch is nice. This watch right here is nice. Okay? So let's make that same example in Turkish. You ready? Let's go. In the Turkish language, we say, bu saat güzel. Bu saat güzel. That's how we say that sentence in Turkish. Bu saat güzel. The next letter that we will be learning today is the letter X. What is that letter? The letter X. Okay? Great. So X is the next letter that we will be learning. Nice. Let's move on. Let's think of a word. Think of a word that begins with X. What is a word that begins with X? Can you think about it? Yes. So an example of a word that begins with X is xylophone. Pronounce with me, xylophone. So here is a xylophone. This one right here is a xylophone. Nice. Let's move. So let's make some example sentences using the word xylophone in both English and the Turkish language. Okay? Let's go. So in English language, an example could be, here is it, this one. Duru plays the xylophone. Let's repeat again. Duru plays the xylophone. All right? Great. Let's move on. So in the Turkish language, how do we make that statement? How do we make that example in Turkish? Let's move on. So in Turkish, we say Duru xylophone çalıyor. Repeat once more. Duru xylophone çalıyor. This is the example right here. This is the sentence. So that is how we make that sentence in Turkish. Great. Let's move on. You are doing very well. Bravo. After X, which letter comes next? Which letter do we have after the letter X? Do you know what it is? So that is the letter Y. That is the letter Y. So Y is the letter after X. Okay? Great. Now let's look for a word that begins with Y. Do you know what that word is? Can you think of any word that begins with Y? Let's move on. So an example of a word that begins with Y is yam. What is the word? Yam. So yam is the word that begins with Y. Okay? Great. Now let's make some example sentences using the word yam. You ready? I like you. Give me a high five. In the English language, an example could be, the yam is delicious. The yam is delicious. All right? So that is an example sentence in English. How do we make that sentence in Turkish language? So in the Turkish language, we say yer elması çok lezzetli. So let's repeat again. In Turkish, we say, as you can see here, we say yer elması çok lezzetli. Okay? That means the yam is delicious. Did you get that? Nice. Let's move on. The letter after Y is the letter Z. Do you know that letter? Let's say it again. The letter is Z. So Z is the last letter in the English alphabet. An example of a word that begins with Z is zebra. Repeat after me. Zebra. So it is zebra. Zebra. Okay? Zebra. Great. Let's make some example sentences using the word zebra. You ready for that? Let's go. So in the English language, an example could be, the baby zebra is cute. The baby zebra is cute. Okay? How do we make that sentence in Turkish? Let's go. So in the Turkish language, we say bebek zebra çok tatlı. Let's repeat again. We say bebek zebra çok tatlı. That's how we say that sentence in Turkish. Good to go. Bravo. This video is designed for kids. Because of that, YouTube does not allow comments, questions, and suggestions. So, for your comments and suggestions, you can reach out to me on Instagram, or better still, you can reach out via email. You can see them right here. Bu video çocuklar içindir. Bu yüzden yorumlar ve önerileri için YouTube izin vermez. Yorumlar ve önerileriniz için Instagram veya e-posta olarak bana ulaşabilirsiniz. Burada görüyorsunuz zaten.